32-17.
Heavens, I really need this shot.
I say, Jeremy, play the game.
Or the crossword.
I say, steady on. Play the game.
Or Monopoly.
Go to jail.
Come on, move it, you gotta go to jail.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Come on, Jeremy, play the game.
All right, I'll play the game. And a lot of people ended up here because they didn't. You know, it's the same sort of minds at work again inventing games as we've seen already inventing cornflakes, zippers and brassiers. Thank you, Siv and Pascal. Now, let me introduce you, first of all, to one of these unsung heroes. He was willing, young, natural, nice and educated. And his name was Wynne. Arthur Wynne, the inventor of the crossword.
The editor of the New York World wants something new for Sunday's magazine section. Another puzzle or something.
What's a circle on the globe, beginning with E and ending with C?
Suppose I could give him this 8x8 word square of mine. What? Oh, circle on the globe, ecliptic maybe?
That's right, thank you. This is really quite clever, Arthur. It's a puzzle of Queen Victoria, Newcastle and coal mines.
Oh, yeah, dear old Queen Victoria's double acrostic. Why do word squares and diamond puzzles have to have the same words across as down?
Hold on. Acrostics, word squares, diamonds? Well, they were all the forerunners of the modern crossword that Arthur Wynne, a Liverpudlian emigre to New York, is about to invent. This is an acrostic. The word actually means first letter first, where the initial letter of the answer to clues spells another word or name. But acrostics became more and more sophisticated, with final letters and central letters making words which were often related to each other. Next on the etymological menu was the double acrostic. And what about that double acrostic Queen Victoria devised?
The initials of our 9-line double puzzle form the name of one of our English towns, namely Newcastle, and the final letters reading upward should spell what that town is famous for. Coal mines. Clever, don't you know, Albert?
Diamond puzzles like this, the little brown jug, reading red rum and murder many different ways, and this, was it a cat I saw, both by master puzzlist Sam Lloyd, were all the rage in Victorian and Edwardian times, which was about the same time Arthur Wynne was inventing.
I've taken the grid of one of these diamond puzzles and I've compiled different words across to those down.
Red rum murder. Red rum murder. Was it a cat I saw? Was it a cat I saw?
Another word for pigeon.
Dove?
Yeah, dove, that's it, dove. Fits in there with reverie and moral. Doesn't matter there are two doves, I suppose. Nah. Look, I've completed a grid with different clues across and down. That's rather a good idea, don't you know? I'll send it in and call it my word cross.
And there it is, the first crossword, or rather word cross as Arthur called it, published on December 21st, 1913. And it was an immediate success with the readers of the New York World. Apart from changing the puzzle's name to crossword, avid readers and solvers of the new craze suggested a more regular rectangular format and the adoption of the rule that all the answers had to fully interlock. Despite his unique contribution to literature, little else is known about Arthur Wynne. He continued working for the newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst and was known to have been a talented violinist, having at one time played with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. He died in Clearwater, Florida on January the 14th, 1945, leaving a widow, 2 daughters, a son and a crossword. Still, the great British public had to wait 11 years after Wynne's first crossword until November the 2nd, 1924, before the Sunday Express took the gamble and presented its readers with the first British newspaper crossword. And it was completely British, all by mistake.
Hello? Hello, Ed. Yeah? Well, the American crossword I sent you. Yeah? That's going in tomorrow's edition. That's great. Yeah. Yes, of course I checked it. Well, I've got the proofs here in front of me. Well, yes, I know it's being set tonight. 20 across. Mistake? Wait a minute. What? Honour? Yes, honour. H-O-N-O-U-R. Well, change it. What? Oh, no, I didn't notice. All right, look, I'll change it. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. Well, they can't use it because of the American spelling of honour. H-O-N-O-R. Damn Yanks, I wish they'd learnt to spell. Right. Well, we'll just add a U.
I'll take it round to the Express at lunchtime, Mr. Shepherd.
Well, the R in storm becomes a U. Staum. I'll change it to Stour. The river. Now, the new R joins Ogle. Honour Ogle. That's no good. Uncle Tom's cabin. Good clue, maybe. Yeah. Is there such a word as Cuscacate?
Cuscacate?
Hello? Yes, Ed, yes. Nearly there. Yes, call you back in 10 minutes.
How do you spell that?
C-U-S. Well, you've got the dictionary. You look it up.
Curmudgeon, couscous.
Couscous.
Couscous, millet. No, it's not here.
Well, what about Custicate?
Custicate. No, custard.
Custodian. Ian. Custodian. That's it. Change bear to barn.
Good, you nearly finished. I'll pop it in on my way home.
Yes, Ed, I know. Well, look, I've had to change virtually all of it, you know. Change clash to clasp. Eh? So there's no honour. Procurable. What? No. Honour's gone. No more honour. No, it's procurable now. Well, it's going to be brilliant. I'll bring it down in 10 minutes. Right. Clue.
You nearly finished, Mr. Shepherd. I'm really tired. What shall I do now?
To be had. To be had.
Pardon?
That's it. That's brilliant. 20 across. Procurable. To be had.
So, from one error, Shepherd had in fact recomposed the whole thing and earned the distinction of creating Britain's first newspaper crossword. By the way, if you're wondering what type of individuals spend their time compiling crosswords, 2 New York magazines have 100 regular contributors, and 25 of them are in prison. From clues to cues, and that word snooker, to be snookered, to be stumped. The word snooker actually comes from to the general notice of the public. But why did TV adopt this seemingly low-key sport and convert it into one of the most avidly followed events in Britain? The answer's simple. Colour. Snooker is one of the very few games where colour is actually an intrinsic part of the rules. It was transmitted mainly to test the newly introduced colour television. But just look what a nonsense it is in black and white.
And now battling Beetlebum is about to pot the light grey and screw back for the mid-grey. Or maybe the slightly darker than dark grey. Or is it that he's going to go for the black? Or the lighter than black? Or even the pale black?
It's wonderful to think that this game, which was invented just over 100 years ago and has its roots way back in the Middle Ages, should have suddenly become a 20th century phenomenon. However, by the time it was invented, snooker already had its table, its cues and its balls, and they all belonged to the game billiards. The word billiards is from the old French word for croquet, and it started as an indoor version of that game. The table is green as a reminder of its outdoor origins. The cue developed from these paddle-shaped maces. The balls used to be pushed with the fat end through hoops. Good shot. But the thin end, or tail, or cue, was for all time. So, snooker slots in at 1875, some way before the crossword. Thank you, Steve and Pascal. Now, let me monopolise the programme a moment with a few amazing facts. Throughout the world, every year, 18 million pounds of this money gets into people's hands. Now, that's more than is minted each year in both the UK and United States. This is the largest house construction in the building trade at 2,500 million houses and 1,000 million hotels. The most capitalistic game of all time, Monopoly. But just how and where did it all start? Well, not in Regent Street or Fenchurch Street Station, and not even Whitehall. Oh no. Back in a good old US of A during the American Depression. 1929, Germanstown, Pennsylvania. The US stock market has just crashed. This is Charles Darrow, an unemployed heating and engineering salesman.
Clam chowder. What are you doing, Charlie? Writing on the cloth.
Here, Esther, have some money.
What?
You remember before the crash, Esther, when we could afford to take our holidays in Atlantic City, Virginia?
What do you mean?
Well, it could all be ours. Here, madam, look here. Here's $3,000 for New York Avenue.
Stop writing on the cloth, Charlie.
No, it's like the landlord's game, Esther. We could buy up Atlantic City street by street.
Come on, eat up your supper. Oh, there's Park Place and Mediterranean Avenue.
Oh, it's just fancy, Esther. Just fancy. I could convert this into a game of my own, and then when we're feeling low, we could pretend we're buying up all the streets and hotels and property in lovely Atlantic City.
After the Wall Street collapse, Charles Darrow had also turned his mind to inventing games to earn a living. They were all ingenious and fun, but none of them were money makers.
Yeah, Esther, the landlord's game. You remember it was given to us by those Quakers in Atlantic City?
Yeah, well, what are you doing?
Inventing Monopoly.
Well, I'm converting that into a game of my own. You see, here, look, I've got these forfeit cards that I made for that other game that didn't sell, and what we need is property and stations. Now, what were the stations in Atlantic City? Pennsylvania Railroad.
Reading Railroad.
Oh, right.
You're ruining the cloth, Charlie.
B&O Railroad? Well, there ain't any others.
There's the bus station.
Short line. Right, so we'll put a forfeit there, and let's put a forfeit over here. What else?
Color those streets red, Charlie. That'd be pretty.
You know, Esther, if we're going to have more than one player, we're going to need symbols.
What about these little charms of mine? Look, the thimble and the top hat.
Soup's cold, Esther. Well, there's another little hotel to go with all the houses.
Title deeds, Baltic Avenue. That's cheap, ain't it?
Yep.
Houses $10 and hotels $20.
Yeah.
Hi, Charlie. How you doing? Hello.
Nice to see you
Hi,
again.
Esther. Hey, have you finished working on the game?
Can we have another go, Charlie? It's great.
Would you like some chowder?
No, thanks. Come on.
Oh, 10. You got 10. That's terrific.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, you
Chance,
take it,
take
Chance.
chance. Okay.
Go on, there you go.
Let's have a look at this.
Hey, is that the time? Dick, we really ought to be going.
Yeah. Hey, see, the Weinbergers would like you to make another set, and the Landsbergs are coming over on Tuesday, and they want one as well. Is that okay?
Come on, count up your assets.
1. Hey, look, I got one here, Dick.
Oh,
and, well, I made another 2. What, $4 each?
Oh, $4. That's terrific. Here we are, $8. Oh, by the way, oh boy, that's great. Congratulations. What are you going to call it?
Monopoly.
Monopoly?
Yeah, from the Greek monopolin. The right to exclusive sale. You always did say you monopolized the game.
No, not the game, the kid. That's a good name, though.
No, Marvin.
A great name, Monopoly.
No, Marvin.
Oh, yeah, Marvin. Marvin's cute, too. Marvin, you know Marvin Gardens, yellow between Waterworks and Go to Jail? You spelled it wrong.
Marvin?
Yeah, Marvin Gardens in Atlantic City is with an E, not an I.
Yeah?
Yeah, Marvin Gardens with an E. How's Esther?
With an E, huh? Esther's fine.
And, Marvin?
Yeah, Marvin is fine also. Does it matter whether it's Marvin or Marvin, goddammit?
Clam chowder, boys.
And nobody did seem to care. Even to this day, that mistake is still incorporated in all American sets. But Darrow was now selling his sets further afield than just his friends. Production increased to 6 sets a day at $4 each.
$24 less the cost of wood and card and paint and inlet cloth. That leaves enough money for clam chowder every day for all of us.
Esther, I'm sick of clam chowder.
Oh.
Look, I want lobster biscuit. I want a bigger house, and I'm sick to death of this itsy-bitsy production. Now, either we borrow money and go into full production, or I'm going to give Monopoly to the Parker brothers.
Parker Brothers were then, as now, one of the largest game manufacturers in the world. But game manufacturers tend to be a cautious mob.
Every year, wonderful games ideas.
Large capital investment.
Staff enjoy your game.
Violates a game principle set by Parker Brothers.
No game should last.
Over 45 minutes.
No specific end here.
Goes on and on.
Rules too complicated.
Not for children.
Rents, mortgages, interest. Similar to landlord's game.
Could be a row there.
Official letter.
Reject, reject.
This game has 52 fundamental errors.
Unacceptable to the general public.
Right. We'll manufacture ourselves. Tom and the boys, we'll order 5,000 and hope they'll sell for Christmas, Hester.
And the public did want it. Philadelphia department stores started placing massive orders as Christmas approached.
Hester, I can't keep it up. Oh, that's 100. We'll never reach the original 5,000 target.
Charlie! Charlie!
What?
It's a letter from New York.
Who from?
Schwartz's.
Wait, they're the biggest toy store in New York.
Yeah, they've purchased 200 of our original sets, and they're over the moon with the sales.
We've landed, Esther.
Yeah.
We've landed.
In New York, someone bought a set from Schwartz's and, raving about it, sent it to one Sally Barton and told her to tell as many people about this stupendous game as possible. She did. She told her husband.
Darling, you simply must look at this game.
Sally's husband was none other than Robert Barton, president of Parker Brothers, and she was in fact the daughter of the founder, George Parker.
Daddy, it's called Monopoly.
3 days later...
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Dow, my husband and I have played your game now, all night, for 3 nights, and we think it's a wonderful game.
We'll buy it from you, Darrow. Outright.
Well done.
He sold the game outright, shrewdly taking the option of royalties on each set which was sold, and they jointly patented the game on August 31st, 1935. And despite the predictions of it being just a passing fad, they got it wrong. Against all expectations, children started playing and demanding sets. Sales rocketed and have increased every year since 1935. So, in every country where Parker's exported their amazing games, the names of the streets have been changed. Altogether, 16 different language versions exist. So Monopoly goes on the board at 1935. Thank you, Pascal and Wilf. Have you got anything for us to do with Monopoly or crosswords or snooker?
I've got the Jonah Monopoly game. Now you'll note that when you land on the electricity works, like so, it gives you a shock. If you land on the waterworks,
Oh no.
your drains go. And if you land on this particular square, your washing machine breaks down.
It's a good game, this. Good game.
Or this one, your drains go.
Ooh. That's good. That's a great game. Snooker?
Snooker, the geriatric snooker ball. It's also very good for learners because snooker's too fast. But with this particular ball, you see, that when you hit it, like so, it proceeds to the hole at a leisurely pace.
Now that's fantastic. It's like a slow motion action replay.
Well, I thought it was pretty good. Now, crosswords.
Yes.
Now, I find the main thing about crossword puzzles is that people do them when you're not around.
Yes, I know.
Very irritating. Now, you'll note with this that the clues are separate, so you can take them with you.
Good idea.
That should stop people, but some people are very determined and insist on trying to fill it in, even if the clues aren't there. But with this particular one, the minute you try to fill in the clues, like so...
Well, next week we zoom into the electronic age and play a few more games outside. Till then, bye.
And that's all from children's programmes on BBC One for today.